Hello YouTube, my name is Nero and today we have some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 in this week's episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel, where subscribers send me fan mail and or fan questions and I do go answer them. The gameplay today is the new Zombies map that we of course got with the Eclipse DLC, Zetsubou no Shima. This map's a lot of fun, it really is. And actually, the first question actually pertains to this map, so we're just going to hop right into the questions here with the first one, where he's going to write, Dear Nero, I was wondering with the recent release of Zetsubou no Shima and how more complex these zombies maps are getting, do you miss the old style zombies like from World at War and Black Ops, Ivo from Sin City? And I assume it's pronounced Ivo. Ivo sounds about right to me. So, maps have to evolve. That's the thing about zombies. Maps have to evolve and become more complicated. Otherwise, zombies gets boring. If you think back to World at War, and I'm typically somebody that always talks about the good old days, you know, but you think back to World at War, those maps were ridiculously easy. Yeah, that's just the very nature of it. Those maps were easy. If you think of Der Riese, which was considered like the pinnacle of zombies for a while, to me anyway, that map's boring, right? You link up your teleporters, you get Pack-a-Punch open, and then you sit on a catwalk until you get bored, basically. I mean, it's so simple to do well on that map. But you can, of course, try different strategies and, of course, challenge yourself that way. But when there's such an easy layout, like, oh, just sit on this catwalk and shoot fish in their barrel, it gets boring pretty quickly. If you think back of just the rest of the World of War maps, I mean, they were very simple, very bare bones, and zombies has to evolve to remain interesting. You know, you can't just play on a map where it's like, all right, spawn in, turn on the power, grab your Pack-a-Punch, grab your perks, and just run circles until you get to a high round, kind of like Die Rise was for me. Die Rise, what was a pretty complex map, lots of stuff for you to do. If you did it just right, which I did guides on even, because I was like a master of Die Rise, I felt like, I made around 78. It was a pretty simple map. Basically, you build your power weapon, you get your perks, you run to the booter room, and you run circles for 8 hours, or until you run out of ammo, whichever comes first. And, you know, you get yourself to a high round. So, I like the fact that zombies a bit more complicated. I like Zetsubou no Shima. I mean, it takes me forever just to get started. It takes me, like, literally half an hour just to kind of get the ball rolling on this map, between, you know, having to go ahead and get the wall, like, open up essentially the entire map, get your water, to put in both of the generators to open up the bunker. Then once you get inside the bunker, turn on the power there, then survive long enough to actually be able to get Jug. And then after that, trying to get some of the parts for the power weapon if you choose to do that, or just trying to get the parts to actually get the Pack-a-Punch unlocked. Like, it actually takes you quite a bit just to kind of get things going. It took me like half an hour, because you guys are watching the gameplay here. It took me about half an hour-ish to even just get the ball rolling, where I got to the point where I had the power turned on and I had everything I really wanted to get going. I'm not even a master of this map. Like, I haven't even made it to round 20 yet on this map, to be perfectly honest. I keep taking forever just to get going and then end up messing up while playing solo. So I haven't really found like a working strategy, I suppose, yet on this map. I'm enjoying, you know, figuring out the map. And that's one of the fun things about Zetsubou no Shima, is there's a lot of figuring out to do. And that's the fun part about new zombies in general, is they want to make it so there's like this zombies community. There's always been a community around zombies, and they want to make it so those players actually have something to do. You can't just have a bazillion, you know, Der Rieses where, you know, you open up the map a little bit, you link to teleporters, which wasn't very hard to figure out, and then you get your Pack-a-Punch weapon and sit on a catwalk. You don't want people to be doing that. You want people to actually have fun, each match to be interesting, and that's what they do by making maps more complicated. In my opinion, if you like the old style of zombies, I mean, the old maps aren't going anywhere, or you can download custom zombies on World at War if you have a good enough PC, and download a bunch of maps that are pretty similar to that style from there as well. Just, I feel as though it's good that the maps are evolving. Even as a casual zombies fan, I think it's the best thing for the community as a whole, because the zombies community is not going to thrive as much if the maps are very simple and boring to easy, you know, and they're easy to figure out. So overall, I think it's a pretty good thing. The next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, recently I went on a hiking trip for 36 miles through a span of 6 days on the Appalachian Trail. It was very challenging, but also very rewarding at the end. Do you like hiking? And if you do, what is the longest hike you've ever been on? Michael from the Music City. So, Michael, I'm not a hiker by any stretch of the imagination. I was in the Boy Scouts growing up. I like outdoorsy stuff, despite the fact that I'm always indoors playing video games, doing stuff for YouTube. I mean, that's the thing about YouTube. It takes forever to do anything. You know, Dear Nero is honestly like one of the biggest hassle videos. I don't know if we should call it a hassle. I suppose that sounds bad. But Dear Nero takes forever to put together. It really does. Between finding all the questions and sorting through all the questions and picking ones I feel sort of good for the show, doing the voiceover, editing it all together, and then, of course, rendering it and uploading it, and then waiting for YouTube to process it. Like, seriously, Dear Nero is like a 9-hour-long thing at the end of the day between all the things that have to happen. Now, it's not, you know, 9 hours at the grindstone or anything like that, but still, it's like 9 hours to get a half-hour-long video out. People have been wondering why sometimes Dear Nero is not like a half-hour to 45-minute long video. Hey, Nero, why don't you just make an hour-long Dear Nero like it's nothing? It's like, because I don't have like 15 hours to dedicate to that. You know, it takes forever to make big, long videos like that. It really does. And so sometimes Dear Nero's short, sometimes it's longer. It depends on how much time I have that day, and this is definitely going to be a shorter one. I spend a lot of time indoors. That's definitely getting off topic, but I love the outdoors, right? I love the outdoors. Over the past couple of years, I've been kind of getting away from that as I'm like doing more and more stuff for YouTube. But this summer, especially like with the spring coming, it's starting to get hot here. Like it's hot in my office right now. It really is. And so it's starting to get nicer out. The weather is starting to change. I'm definitely going to be getting out a lot more this year. I like golfing. I don't hike like the way you hike. Like you're talking about like camping, like on the trail 6 days, or maybe you guys stop at these like cabin spots on the way through. I have a little knowledge of hiking, I suppose, but not completely as to what you did on the Appalachian Trail. But I do like walking through the woods and stuff like that. It's like my form of exercise, I suppose. Like if I'm feeling like cooped up, I just go for like a walk in the woods and whatnot. There's tons of trails around here that I like to walk on, and golfing and fishing and swimming and doing all kinds of stuff like that. That's the stuff I really enjoy. And that's stuff I'm definitely doing a lot more of this year because I didn't do a lot of it last year, and I'm really kicking myself. Like especially this winter when I was feeling super cooped up, I'm like, I'm sitting here all cooped up, stuck inside the house because it's horrible weather outside, and I wasted like my entire summer where I didn't like do anything fun outside. Really, I just spent the entire time working on YouTube, which is it's my job, it's what I do. But I definitely want to make a push to do a lot more outdoor activities this year, which I'm definitely looking forward to. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, what are your thoughts on all the Red Dead Redemption 2 stuff floating around online? I know you've always wanted this since Red Dead Redemption. Thanks, Eugene from Ireland. I hope I pronounced that right. You even gave me the pronunciation, but it wasn't like a great pronunciation. It's either Usheen or Eugene. I can't quite tell. But what are my thoughts on the Red Dead Redemption 2 leaks that are going around? So there's apparently a map that was leaked. I was thinking about making a video on this in Nero's Let's Plays, but I think I'll wait until more stuff actually comes out about it. But I'm definitely excited for it. If you guys don't know, Red Dead Redemption, freaking amazing game. If you've never played it, you should. It's on last gen only. It's not on PC. I know it's for the 360. I know it's for the PS3. And essentially what it is, it's made by Rockstar. Picture Grand Theft Auto in the Old West, and that's what Red Dead Redemption is. It's the story of John Marston. It is a fantastic game. Seriously, one of the best games I've ever played. It was beautiful. It was one of the best looking games, even for that time, on an old system. It looks better than some modern games look now, like on the Xbox One and PS4 even. It's insanely good looking, insanely fun, open world. It's like it's the best Old West game I've ever played, and I really enjoyed it. The leaks that are going around with Red Dead 2 is that it's going to be set before Red Dead Redemption, like kind of like a prequel, but it's not going to be like based upon the same people. It's going to be set in a whole different area further east. So it's not going to be as much railroad stuff going on, which is always funny. People would always like, you capture a hooker, you tie her up, and then you put her on the railroad track like the evil villain. You can do that in the original Red Dead Redemption. And I was always a good guy. I'm always the good guy in video games. I would always save them instead of, killing them that way. But apparently it's going to be set a little bit further east. There's not going to be as many railroads going on, I suppose. It's going to be a little bit different in terms of the layout. And apparently it's going to be set before the events of the original Red Dead Redemption. So even further in the past, which is going to change around the weaponry, I suppose, and some things going on within the world. I'm interested. I don't know much more about that. We don't know that much about it, but it's going to be awesome, guys. It's Red Dead 2. I'm looking forward to it. I hope it makes a PC release. I'm becoming one of those evil PC people where I play like all my stuff on PC now because it's fantastic. Like I love like having everything in like the highest ultra settings possible. Like it's just a Red Dead 2 sounds amazing, even for the online. Online is even a blast because it's just a giant open world. That's all Red Dead Online was. It was kind of like GTA 5 Online, but like super stripped down with absolutely nothing for you to really do. I mean, there was like horse races and poker games. Poker games were fun. I used to do some videos of me playing poker. I think I did one video like 4 years ago of me playing a game of Red Dead Online poker, which is really cool. But essentially what it was just a giant open world. I'm talking seamless, like the size of Skyrim. Maybe not the size of Skyrim, maybe not that big, but still a giant open world with no load screens or anything like that. And you just ride around and do whatever you wanted. My friends and I, we'd go to Armadillo, and we'd have a lot of fun there. We would basically take over the town. We would like kill anyone that tried coming into Armadillo. This is our town, darn it. We were a bunch of bandits basically, and it's a really fun game. So I'm definitely looking forward to Red Dead 2. I want to learn more about it. It looks to be pretty awesome, and yeah, my hopes are pretty high. But here's the thing, it's probably gonna be a disappointment. That's the thing, right? Red Dead was so good that I think a Red Dead Redemption 2 would be like, there's no way it could compete, right? And people need to think about that going in. There's no way it's going to be better than the original Red Dead because the original Red Dead was really that good. But speaking of PC and PC gaming and whatnot, that's going to kind of tie into the next question here, where he's going to write, Dear Nero, I recently purchased a mechanical keyboard and was curious on what type of keyboard you have. Follow-up question, if it's a mechanical, then how do you reduce the incoming key press sounds from getting into your recording/mic when you play PC games? I have a Snowball, so that might be why. Anyways, thanks for the response. Dragon from Pennsylvania. So Dragon, Dragon, originally I had a mechanical keyboard similar to you. Now I had the Razer Black Widow Ultimate, which is I think a keyboard that a lot of people get because it's like sold like everywhere. Originally people would have to go to like Best Buy or some kind of like a gaming store to pick up a Black Widow Ultimate keyboard, but now it's like just everywhere. It's sold at so many places. You can get even at like your local Walmart. So a lot of people get that. It's a pretty expensive keyboard, but it was a good keyboard nonetheless, and it was mechanical, and I liked it. The problem with it was, and it's kind of tying into the second part of your question, it is very clicky. That's what mechanical keyboards do. They are incredibly clicky, and you definitely hear that on your recordings. Now, the keyboard I actually use now actually downgraded, if you want to call it that, because it costs less and it's not mechanical, to a Razer Deathstalker. I like Razer keyboards. I really do. I like the fact that they glow green. That's the main reason why I like them. But I went down to a Deathstalker because it's not a mechanical keyboard, and it's going to be quieter. If you want kind of an example of what it's like to have a quiet keyboard while playing, but I also have a good microphone as well. I have an Electro Voice RE20. But if you want a good idea as of like what that's like, you can watch any videos on Nearest Let's Plays where I'm playing on the PC. A good example would right now be my Fallout 4 Let's Play. If you go and watch like a Fallout 4 video and just listen to like 10 minutes of it, even if you're not interested in Fallout, you can get a good idea of what it's like to listen to me play with a keyboard. It's a very quiet. I actually type for you here. Hold on, let me click this and press enter a couple of times. So right now I'm just going to type some stuff, and you can kind of definitely hear that on the mic, right? But think about it. If you're actually playing a game where you're just pressing like WASD and occasionally clicking, like you barely hear that, like especially with like the game actually happening. If you're just occasionally pressing WASD and you're playing shift to crouch, or no, I guess it'd be control to crouch, shift to sprint, stuff like that, like you don't even pick it up with this keyboard. So that's why I decided to go with it, and definitely there should be more people like talking about that, because that's a question I couldn't quite get answered by a lot of people. It's like, what is a quiet keyboard for YouTube? Like it was really bothering me in all my old PC videos. You could hear clicking and clacking on the Black Widow Ultimate, and the answer is Razer Deathstalker. I'm not affiliated with Razer, by the way. I would be required to tell you if I were, but I'm not. I just am a happy customer, I suppose. I like their products. So, yeah, that's the keyboard I used to use. I liked it. I like mechanical keyboards, but for YouTube recording, they really just don't work, especially since you have a condenser microphone like the Snowball. It's going to pick up everything in the room. It's just, that's got to be very clickety and clackety. So if you want to try and reduce that without upgrading your microphone, go for the Deathstalker. If I recall correctly, it's like a $60 keyboard as compared to the Black Widow Ultimate, which is like $120. Like it's like half the price, and it's quieter, and it's a nice keyboard. I like it a lot, so I would recommend that. Next question. He is going to write, Dear Nero, I play guitar and I have a ton of fun with it. I was wondering, did you play any musical instrument, or do you play any? Anthony from California. Anthony, I've never really played an instrument. Now, I've taken a couple of things in school. Now, everyone learned how to play the recorder, right? I could play Hot Cross Buns like you guys would not believe on my recorder. It was fantastic. Also, why'd they call it a recorder? It looks more like a flute to me, but I know there's differences there, but still, it's a weird name. When you say you play the recorder, I mean, it's a flute-looking thing. It's odd. So, of course, everybody learned that in like elementary school, or at least most people did, I think. But I also took an interest in the percussion in early middle school, and I was one of those people that, while I worked to get kind of good at it, I was also one of those people that never practiced at home, so I never got any good with it, and I dropped it after like a year or two. Although I was there, I was learning that for a little bit. So aside from that, I don't play any instruments. I just don't even know how to. Although I will say I have seriously, and I can't even stress, seriously, the utmost respect for anybody that can play an instrument, especially if you guys can play it well. Like, it seriously blows my mind. If I see somebody who's good at guitar, good at drums, even other like more obscure things, if you're good at the harmonica or the piano, I seriously am amazed by that. Like, when I listen to music, I love hearing people that are good at an instrument, right? Just today, I was listening to Billy Joel and Elton John because they're both amazing on the piano, right? I just love listening to them play the piano. I just love listening to people that are good at an instrument. It can be anything. I'm talking saxophone, I'm talking flute, I'm talking harmonica, I'm talking anything that is a musical instrument. If you're good at it, you have my respect, because that is amazing. And I know how hard it is to learn that kind of stuff. Like, if you ever tried to pick up a guitar, people think, oh yeah, it's a guitar, how hard is it? You ever tried to pick up one? It's not that easy to pick up. People are bad at it. It takes a very long time to get good at guitar. So when you see somebody that is good at it, it's like, dude, that's amazing. Congratulations on that. You've worked hard, and that is awesome that you're good at that. So any of you guys out there who actually play a musical instrument, you guys are amazing. You're a better man than me. The next and final question is going to be coming in from Ghost619 in California, who's going to write, Dear Nero, if Treyarch releases a map pack similar to Resurrection from Black Ops 1, which zombies maps from World at War, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2 would you like to see return? For myself, I would like to see Moon, Mob of the Dead, Keynote or Toten, as well as Origins. And once again, that came in from Ghost619 from California, a longtime fan and frequent guest on some of my old series, like Chem Strike Saturday a couple of years back. Definitely a cool guy. He's actually got a very nice YouTube channel going over there, so check him out if you guys haven't already. But what maps I like to see, if you guys didn't know or maybe didn't play Black Ops 1, we're talking about the Resurrection DLC. It was a DLC pack that came out for Black Ops 1 where essentially they just brought back a bunch of zombies maps from World at War into Black Ops 1. They essentially revamped them, for lack of a better phrase, and just kind of put them into the game. There were some bugs, but it was still kind of cool to play those World at War maps on Black Ops 1. I was honestly a big fan. What maps I like to see come into Black Ops 3 as some kind of like separate zombies DLC, kind of similar to yours. I would like Mob of the Dead, like you mentioned. I would like Kino der Toten, like you mentioned, because those are both very good maps. I would also like Moon, right? Because Moon was a pretty fun map. But I will also say Shi No Numa, right? I bring it back again. I don't care. For the second time, bring back Shi No Numa. This time, mess with it a little bit. I don't even care. Change around the formula. Change the location of it. Make it look like it belongs on the island that we're playing on here with Zetsubou no Shima. Make it something along those lines. Or alternatively, you could make it so it's the same area, but it's like all broken down. We go back there for whatever reason, and Division 9 was like, working there again for some reason or something like that happened. Add Pack-a-Punch to the map, for crying out loud, because that map was pre-Pack-a-Punch, and a map without Pack-a-Punch is seriously no fun. I mean, it's a fun map, but just Pack-a-Punch, of course, makes things better. It's my personal favorite zombies map. I would like to see that. Also, I would like to give a special shout out to Transit. I know a lot of people hate that and just get angry every time I say I like Transit. Freaking Transit was awesome, and you guys were all wrong, right? And that's the thing, man. That's the thing. It all comes down to personal preference and opinion. And when I say I like Transit, there's a bunch of zombies like fans out there that are just like, really, Transit? You like Transit? That abomination? The same way when somebody tells me that Call of Duty Ghosts was one of the best Call of Duty games ever, and I'm just like, really? Ghosts? That was your favorite game? Ghosts of all the games? It's like the same thing there. Like, for me personally, I was a big fan of Ghosts, and for a lot of zombies fans, they weren't a big fan of Transit. It all comes down to personal preference, and everybody likes what they like, and they don't like what they don't like, I suppose. But Transit was fun for me. I enjoyed it. I think it's because I played it with my friends, and I had a lot of fun that way. But at the same time, I also thought it was kind of fun to play solo, because it was like this giant like open world zombies. Like, I know for a fact that I'm starting there like at the diner, for example, and if I stay on foot, I can run all the way to town from there. And I'm going through these cornfields. There's this really cool Nocturne Toten Easter egg out there in the field. There's all these Easter eggs going on with like the lightning guy out there in the cornfield with the tower things going on. It was a cool map. I really thought Transit was fun. I know that's not a popular opinion, but it's an opinion nonetheless. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to conclude this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you did, please drop me a rating. And if you guys would like to submit your questions for the next episode of Dear Nero, simply send me a personal message here on YouTube. If you're unaware of how to do that, just go to my YouTube channel, go to the About section, and from there you'll find a send message button. Or alternatively, if you'd not like to do that and you'd like to reach me on Twitter, you can find me on Twitter at NeroTweets and tweet me using the hashtag Dear Nero, and I may use your question from Twitter as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude the video. I'm looking forward to next week's episode, and hopefully you guys are as well. Hopefully I can get up a little bit earlier than this week, but I apologize for that. But I had some family stuff to do today. Again, nice weather, starting to do some more stuff outside and whatnot, and yeah, it was a fun day overall, but I do apologize for going up a little bit late this week. But regardless, once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Drop me a rating. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day.